What is going on, guys? It's Yoji. We are here with episode 10 of the Casual Podcast. Totally non-tryhard this time. And I'm here with Project PT, and basically as always, and with the person who does the best Project PT cosplay that I know, which is PressStartToPaws. Hello, how are you guys doing?
That's terrible.
Good.
Good and terrible.
Thank you for having me.
That seems pretty good. All right. How we've been playing Essence League and Atlas for like I don't know, not even 24 hours yet. If we played all the time, and I didn't.
Yeah. I had a nap after the servers exploded.
That's probably good. I didn't have any server problems.
I played up until like 30 minutes ago or something.
Could you play?
The entire duration. Yeah, I had absolutely no problems. My party did. My friends did.
Yeah, for me the same. Everyone else around me was like, I can't play, I'm disconnecting. Everything exploded, and I was just like, nope, I'm fine. I have no idea why or how. I was playing on the same server from the same city, and everyone else died and exploded.
I didn't have any troubles at the very start. I logged in, went fine. I had a quick disconnect, got back in, and then people were bitching, and then they're like, well, let's just see if there's like a priority queue. And so I just like logged out, and then I was stuck at like 80,000. 2 hours later, I'm like, I'm playing! Yay!
So you can confirm there is no priority queue, at least if so, you are not in it.
Exactly. Which is it's not very good evidence, but
well, yeah.
That was.
I didn't have any problems. Also, first ambulance of the day, at least.
Yes, one ambulance.
Yeah, I had no problems. I died once really early due to I don't know if you saw that when all the messages got bumped back because the server was lagging behind. Like when the first person to enter. Yeah, I had a little lag spike and actually died to that. That's really funny. Like these people reach this and you die. Okay, that's not cool.
I died on hill looking. I was looking in the bottom left because I'm just like, where's the messages? There's no messages appearing. And like I'm like, no way I'm gonna be the first level 2. And then Hillick's like whack. I'm like, forgot something. Whoops.
You died. Oh god. You died to Hillock. Is this a buff?
I was in the top 50, so there's that. I died rank 36.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
There you go. First time I got a death in the top 50.
That's pretty good. Yeah. How's it going so far? What are you playing, by the way, Paws? I actually did not check what you were playing yet.
Well, considering that Reddit was going on about Blade Vortex and it being good, I'm going Pathfinder and Blade Vortex.
Alright.
I want to try all the maps.
Yeah.
Can you confirm that it is good?
It's great for leveling. I leveled in a party of 3 people, can carry the damage after level 18 up to, well, a certain level. It's really bad at the start because you don't get it as a ranger, so good luck.
And you also don't get any fizz nodes as a ranger early. Like, because I tried it as a shadow, and as soon as I equipped it, I had like all the fizz chaos nodes. I was like, this is easy mode. But
you go a lot into life at the start. I don't say it's good for everyone. Like, I'm doing maps. I'm level 73 right now, or around there, and you have to time your floss. You have to move a lot. It's not, okay, I'm just face rolling everything.
Interactive gameplay.
What is this interactive gameplay? But Pathfinder's, I think pretty much any build you're going to be doing on the Pathfinder, you're accepting the, flask rotation every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Yoji, what you were doing a Reeve build I caught on your YouTube.
Yeah, I leveled as Blade Vortex till like I got my first Ascendancy done. I took the Assassin node that gives you bleed, poison, and maim on hit, like in this combo chain thing. And then I equipped a proper dagger once I got one and switched to Reeve like as soon as I hit Cruel, basically. So I leveled to like 40-ish without it. And Reeve's actually working. It's actually working pretty well.
Are you using the essences to craft weapons, or are you buying like random uniques? Like, are you using the Flat Fizz Contempt?
I actually tried to craft weapons for a while. I hit absolutely nothing. I used the added Flat Fizz and I got all the resist weapons I needed.
Excellent.
And then I was like, okay, well, Guess it's time to buy a weapon. I bought a better weapon than Might Flay with more attack speed and higher DPS for less than 1 chaos. I haggled the guy down a bit, and I don't need unique weapons. I just like use this weapon for like 20 levels now. It's still fine because the bleed and poison on it is actually pretty strong. And now that I'm getting a little bit of crit rolling as well, it's actually solid. It's not like Blade Vortex still one shots everything with like 2 stacks, but I might switch to that to just for Cruel Malachi again. I'm still leveling the gem in case something goes really bad. But yeah, it's pretty good. I actually didn't expect Reef to be this good. I thought it would be worse.
Well, I was curious if you're having issues with the crafting, just in comparison, because the two-hand crafting using the contempts, it's pretty fine. If I don't land the prefix, I have the flat fizz, then I vegan craft. I'm like, hey, look, I have something that's a little bit weaker than the uniques. Hey, everything's dying. Cool. And now I'm in a problem. I'm like, hey, the contempts have stopped spawning. Where are all the contempts? Because I want my flat fizz.
Actually, most of the trading I've done so far is trade with one of my people on the friend list. I give him the minion essences and I get the contempts. And we level like this because he's playing SRS leveling and I'm Reef leveling. We just like trade back and forth all the essences. So I give away, I take all the minion essences. He's like, take all the fizz essences. And that kind of works, but I'm just getting so unlucky with the fizz crafts. Like I essence rings, amulets with fizz damage, with flat fizz and daggers. And I'm hitting no life and no resist constantly. Which is like, I need one of them. Please.
Yeah.
Anyone else want a QQ about bad RNG? I heard Paws had some map RNG that was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much had the same problem, like essences. Let's try it. Hype. Oh, it's crap. Okay, next one. Let's try it. It's still crap. Okay. I don't know. I tried crafting daggers. It's pointless.
I was looking at the rings because I was like, okay, I need rings, life resist like everybody. And I'm like, okay, so there's a flat energy shield to rings because CI needs more buffs. That's
Yep.
clearly when playing Path of Exile, I'm like, CI is just not good enough. So from there, I was like, okay, well, what's this? And I'm like, all right, what's a good ring thing I can get?
Flat
They're
damage.
all shit.
Flat damage is like the only
Life regen.
Yeah, 1 to 2 life. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
You can get life on body armor or something.
Yeah, I got life on body armor. I use that.
On rings.
Ooh.
The best.
It's like, why can't I get life on rings? You can give me the flat energy shield. You're not going to give me the life. That's just depressing.
Or at least like leech or something useful from that essence? Because that's kind of like the life leech and life gain based essence, right?
I think there's a mana leech one, but it's very high tier. It's not low tier.
Oh, that's nice. Because I'm kind of like banking on getting some mana leech for sustain later on.
Yeah, there's a chaos one that gives you like no, it's chaos damage on the rings. Nope, sorry, you don't get it.
Damn it.
Might be amulet if you want to give up your amulet.
Yeah, if there's something I really would like to add to essences, I want to essence more stuff. I want to essence like I don't know, like flasks and everything.
Maps.
Maps.
Why isn't there essence?
Jewels would probably be too powerful unless they make like shit mods. Or make it like half power.
If have you gotten any sextants yet? Pause.
No, none at all.
Okay. Because that was one of the things that they were very, very hush-hush about. And I was always wondering, like, when are we going to get more information? The data mine stuff, it's like, is that it? Did something happen to sextants? Because it was a neat idea. And nobody's getting anything with them. And they're like, okay.
I don't know. I'm not even close to map.
I think they might start dropping somewhere when you're mid-range or you can use the whole radius of it. So far, I've only done T1, T2, T3s, and no luck so far. Maybe T5, T6, they start dropping more often or something.
That could be. Because like, you need a little bit of like, you need some adjacent maps for them to actually do something interesting more than add a random mod to one map. Because the interesting part is that it affects other maps as well.
And then you get 2 mods.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It is. I want to know if it... Well, because I wanted to know if you could go above 8 properties on a map. or above like the 6 properties on a map using sextants. Like, are they really going to allow something like 16 property Vald maps? Just want to see that.
That seems pretty cool. Yeah, if you like add 5 or 6 or so to a already max property map.
Well, if it doesn't, well, the interesting part would be if it doesn't allow a map roll to appear again, but also go above the rolls once you have all the pack size ones, you're guaranteed only damage ones, and you would know not to do them. So you could roll maps in an interesting way, but it seems that sextants are essentially meaningless drops so far in everyone I've chatted with.
Interesting. And maybe it's one of those cases where people say it's meaningless because they don't use it, or they look at it, assume it's meaningless, and don't use it. Kind of like prophecies. A lot of people were like, prophecies don't do
Yeah.
anything, but if you actually like do them, you can make a lot of currency and get interesting stuff from it. And because maybe like the first 3 sextants you use are not meaningful, but that doesn't mean everything is not meaningful. That's not worth. Like sometimes you have
Yeah.
to grind a bit in Path of Exile. Who knew?
We need more data.
It's like you run a tier 1 map and be like, mapping is boring. Kind of like this. Because there are rare, like red map sextants. Maybe they have different mods even. That could be a thing
Yes,
as well.
but the rare map sextants, the red map sextants are significantly rarer than the white map sextants.
Yes. But maybe that allows them also to be better and more interesting. Best case.
If they drop.
That's true.
I mean, I think we need to give it time. A lot of people don't roll their maps
Yeah.
properly. They don't chisel. They don't alk anything.
There is a
They
lot of
just-
people that have been running them in standard leagues, and they're the ones who not. Like I think I chatted with one
yeah.
person who's done 3 hours straight of like red tier maps, and they've gotten no sextants. They're like, okay, maybe there's a drop rate problem.
That could be a thing that they're like heavily gated or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaper ops are also pretty gated behind, like you have to complete like a specific goal in a specific map. Maybe they are just super rare to compensate because they don't want us to have sextants on all maps all the time.
Which actually makes me a bit sad. I was kind of hoping that was going to be a thing. That at least there was
Sextant all the things.
all eggs. Well, at least a frequent occurrence that you would rarely be able to stack the sextants, but you would always be able to at least be running with a sextant. That's what I was expecting. That stacking would be rarer and individual ones would be more frequent.
Yeah. We've also said he got 3 tier 16s and only 1 red sextant. So apparently they are kind of rare. I'm expecting tier 16s to be pretty rare as well. Rarer than tier 15s, and that's already pretty rare.
Seems
They did,
reasonable.
however, say that the sextants last for multiple maps. So even
5.
though they're rarer, yeah, you have 5 maps where you can do them.
Yeah, so even if you
So-
only find one every like so and so maps, once you got one, you have it for 5 maps. That's true. Yeah, maybe. All right. So, how do you like Essence so far? Any cool, interesting stuff that happened with Essence mobs to you? Any close calls? Anything interesting?
I died to Hillock, but that was Essence, right?
No, it was not Essence Sillock, no.
I like that the tormented spirits can corrupt the essence before they're activated, so you're not like, oh shit, run ahead, unlock the thing, get the torment to run in. The tormented spirits can possess a locked essence.
That's nice. I kind of expected that. Kind of like they could possess Vagan before he was activated as well, which I always liked. But I didn't really have it confirmed yet. I think that's cool. That's interesting. And how is the tormented fight? Is it dangerous or?
I'm only at Cruel Act 3,
All right.
and none of them have done damage. But I'm going to assume that that's just, Cruel and me being Ancestral War Chiefs being like, oh my god, I put 2 Ancestral War Chiefs down, and it died. Yay!
Okay.
Go team.
Yeah, totem, click, dead. It's kind of like the Blade Vortex kind of was the same for me when I was leveling. It was just like, stack up some Blade Vortexes, free the thing, it instantly dies.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, like, we had the Val cultist one, the one that does different Val skills, and it started doing a Val Flame Blast, and Val Detonate Dead on in a normal harvest in a tight corridor. That was funny.
That seems
And
pretty sketchy.
in maps we had one Elemental Reflect with Corrupting Blood spawns out of the thing, and it's like we both almost die. Because, well, stack. We were all stacking on top of it, because let's open and kill it fast.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't want to do
Nice.
that.
Yeah, I like that you can't read the mods of the mob before you put it out of the thing. That definitely makes it more dangerous. Because if you could read them.
Else, I honestly like them because you can do them if you want to, you can skip them if you don't. Personally, our group basically didn't care about the essence. We just, oh, this one has tiny little mobs that die fast. We're doing this one. Because it was about time efficiency as well. Like in Dry Lake, we had the knitted horrors. It was like, we're not stopping for that. It takes forever to kill them.
Why would I? The corrupted ones have an insane health pool.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
the ones that spawn after the mobs. They spawn like these. I had them spawn two like zombie dudes. They were like super tanky.
I was just sitting there being like, well, you're not hurting me, but you're gonna fucking die anytime soon. I'm just like, dude. And I'm thinking, imagine someone who doesn't really have a very, very competent build, or that's their first time playing the game. Like,
Like
oh,
me. I have an incompetent build.
yeah, but they had so much life. Why? It was like the original Beyond double life regen mobs.
Well, at least I didn't regen, but they were, for me they were hard to take down because my Reaver doesn't do that much damage. It's actually like it's more reminiscent of like old school PoE because yeah, it just doesn't do much damage overall. I actually have to fight rare mobs for a little bit.
Yeah, what?
Like they die eventually to like bleed and poison, but it takes a while. Holy crap!
What? All the ambulances.
Yep.
No, that turned out really well. I have been enjoying them, but they're not difficult. Especially as at least the lower tiers. Have they been getting any more difficult at the higher tiers other than just reflect pause?
Just Reflect, Corrupting Blood, and some of them you have to pay attention to what they're doing. There's one that throws Corrupting Blood type orbs, and
Yep.
it's a blade.
Agreed, I believe.
That one you have to pay a bit of attention to what you're doing because you can get three of them in your face and then you're almost dead.
Yeah, I had that as well. Like I took some corrupting
They're
blood to
not-
the face.
That hard right now, but I think that will change once we're doing actually higher tier maps, rolling them better.
Yeah, I think so as
Like
well.
right now we're doing them blue. All maps are blue simply because Alks went on gear. So
That's your low tiers. You're really gonna waste your alks on your white tier maps. You're gonna want to use them on like your higher yellow or your red. You can just sustain so easily
Yeah,
on
true.
maps for no reason now.
I think there's some potential there for them to have like synergistic like difficulty with map mods and stuff, definitely. Or like as you said, tormented spirits, stuff like if things happen together with Essence, I think there's definitely some potential there.
It's also the multiple properties. When you have or when you open one that has two or more properties, they gain all of them, which is interesting. But I haven't been able to find any that are concerning yet. I've noticed all of them tried to have a mechanic that you're supposed to pay attention to, and have a period of time to avoid it. I'm just curious if they're actually going to get to that damage level because there's tons of like mechanics that you notice. They're like, it's designed that if you do that, you can avoid the damage. Too bad it doesn't do enough damage to fucking hurt.
Yep. And the thing is, if that actually changes, then it might get interesting.
I guess the most they actually hurt is when you're not capped on resist right at the start in normal. We skipped most of the normal ones. We're like, well, we probably don't have damage, or they're probably gonna do elemental stuff to us. So we skipped like the first few until we got some resist on our gear.
I'm still trying to solve that out. My resists are terrible.
I got really lucky on the whole resist thing, like because I mean I have resist weapons that are pretty good, so I just like
Nice.
use those. No, I'm actually almost res cap now, which is pretty good. And I found a really early bismuth flask, the one that gives 35
Yep.
res on use. That's basically what I use for those. Like whenever I open an essence or whenever there's something that does ally damage, I just like pop that. And I got a 20% reduced flask charges used belt like a physical damage belt that I'm still using since I rolled that with like at level 10 or something, because that's just so good for Quicksilvers and stuff.
I did actually find a 40% gold rim, but I don't want to use it because refixing my resists is so self-found after I've used that is
Oh,
like I'll fuck it up. And it's just gonna be like I'm gonna be stuck using a gold rim for so long that I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's why I never use tabulas for leveling. I hate going back to a 5-link from a 6-link. I only use tabula if I already have a 6-link waiting for my character. But if I know I have to go back to a 5-link, it's just no.
Exactly.
I
And
don't
none of the
know.
cost is annoying. What were you saying?
I used to have like different rings, sapphire, topaz, just sitting in my inventory, and it's like, oh, we're going this area. Okay, I need to swap this ring with this ring and this amulet with that. And it's like, okay, I'm capped for one thing, and then swap to a different area and have to swap all the gear around.
Totally not annoying at all.
Well, I used to
Well,
do that before Master Bench Crafts. Like I really remember doing that in 2 point or sorry, like 1.2, 1.1. And then Bench Crafts came in and I was like, resist. Good. +1 me.
Seems nice. Gold rim to 100, yeah, basically. 40% gold rim can't replace possible.
Cultrum Tabula C.
yep.
C until you die in hardcore. You should be able to do 100 with that. Not too bad. It just take you a while.
They nerfed experience again, right? Like the
Yes, they
penalties.
did.
Yeah.
They did.
How big was the I took a quick look at it. I didn't actually check how big the nerf was from
Six,
95 to
almost 17% to 96,
And
and it goes
95
up.
plus is like 16% plus penalty.
Yeah.
So, like it will after 95, it becomes almost impossible to keep leveling. Basically, it gets more and more crazy.
I think the reason for that was like the tier 16 maps have more experience, and if you could theoretically sustain the tier 16s and clear them, that balance change is probably around those existing. Maybe.
I don't know. I've not been there yet, but
Well, they'll have more experience. I'm assuming that's
Possibly
what the
that.
experience.
yeah, they would
Or
probably
they
have more
got
experience.
Experience per
or they got
hour,
pissed off.
maybe not.
Yeah, that's the big problem, right? Like you cannot put as much experience per mob as you want if the mob density is not there and if the layout is not there. It doesn't actually matter.
Tier 16
Yeah,
is one pack.
they did say they increased pack size in a lot of the bad layouts,
Yep.
so I
I heard
presume they do have the reasons.
I heard that Dunes is no longer a nice, clean layout. It's yeah,
Bomb, ruining Dunes. I
yeah.
mean, Dunes is also not tier 1 anymore, I guess.
No, it's tier 6.
Or something like this.
Yeah,
Mid tier. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to like trying out all the new maps and stuff. I heard some of them are really beautiful, and I also saw some stuff, and we also saw stuff in the trailers. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I don't want to rush it. This time I want to take the league slow, so I don't like get to a point where I'm like, don't want to play anymore.
but we
Super
also
early.
have the new pictures on the loading screens.
That's actually really cool.
Oh yeah.
I think that makes like I don't know what it is, but it makes the game just look more polished. It just good like it just feels more professional.
I can agree with that, especially the little detail on the passive tree that pops up.
Yes.
The icon you get.
Mm.
Did you see the Templar one?
No, I've just seen mine. The
Templar
yellow
one is hilarious. It's just like he looks so epic, and it's just wearing this like see-through dress that he's wearing, and it's
What?
but he looks it's just like his fist up in the air, and like he looks like he's bringing the wrath of God down on you without pants or proper clothing. It's amazing. The Templar one is by far the best. It's like it's not even a contest.
I'm now looking it up.
It's on Reddit. Someone said like
I don't know.
the topic was called "Not wearing pants never looked this epic" or something like this. I was like, "Yep, he's completely right. That one is awesome. I'll play a Templar solely for that."
A new reason to play Templar.
Yep. I mean,
I really like the Ranger one as well. I mean, I've seen like 2 or 3 of them, and they're really nice, all of them.
and the Shadow also looks pretty cool. It's the old Shadow art of the Shadow like jumping or like sliding down a building and onto like guards and stuff. It's like I think they're all images that we've seen before. At least I've seen the shadow one before.
Oh, I'm trying to find the
The
stupid
Templar.
thing. Yeah, I don't see it.
It was on top of Reddit like earlier. So
Nope, I
not
don't see it
anymore.
at the
It
moment.
was.
It was not anymore.
It's missing, and the curating system mystery.
Yep.
Things disappear.
But yeah, overall, I can just say it's really cool. And I like just these little additions. I just like it. It does help. It's probably not a lot of work to implement, and it just does so much.
The the load zones between the two are fantastic when there's a very short zone and I'm just like, what was that? Because I'm so used to when doing a vegan quest or any of the dailies and it's just like a flash and then it's something that I'm just not used to seeing after hundreds and hundreds of hours and I'm like confused still. I'm like, right,
Something was different.
right. And then did you guys notice the hand quest for doing the golden hand in the crypt
I
or
didn't do
after
that yet.
Fellshrine? He has a different model.
No.
Ooh,
So if you haven't seen that, he has a different model, and
interesting.
it looks pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't do the quest yet. I just did the trial, but
No,
I
not
didn't actually
yet.
go for the quest. Interesting. Yeah, there are like a lot of like small changes here and there, which is pretty cool. I noticed that Blade Fall has different targeting when I used it to cheese Dominus, because usually when you like aim your mouse cursor at a wall accidentally, you would just like Blade Fall, not Blade Fall, but like stand there and the character would be confused because you have your mouse cursor on a wall, and now it's actually like Blade falling in front of the wall, which is pretty nice.
Okay, well,
Also
I
makes
know
it harder to cheese Dominus, by the way.
I was gonna say I know they changed it for the mine, but I didn't know that they adjusted it all for the basic cast.
I don't know if it has anything to do with that. It's just like Ziggy mentioned it as well when I watched him, that his blast rain, when he accidentally targets a wall, now comes down in front of the wall instead of auto attacking, which is pretty nice.
Okay, it might be just something with how
Yeah,
they detect the.
they did that for Leap Sam as well, I think. They
Oh,
fixed
that's
his
nice.
targeting.
That's really good because like not being able to leap out of a pack when you're about to die is pretty annoying. That's a good change.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that much getting stuck with Burning Blaze either, which normally I'm really bad at, with like clicking in wrong directions and like being like I can't, and then almost dying and having to lag out. That didn't happen to me. I think it happened like once.
The only thing that I kind of noticed in terms of some like the quality of life are moving or spot leveling was the firestorm mobs have been doing more damage. That was just a small thing.
Firestorm?
Yeah, mobs like the cannibal right at the start. When I was hit by it, I was just like, this is doing a lot more damage than it used to.
Oh, I noticed that with what's called the rock elemental guy in what's it called? What's the zone called? Crematorium? Is it Crematorium? I think it's Crematorium.
Yeah, it's Crematorium.
In Cruel, just now, I did that just before we started the podcast, and yeah, like 2 or 3 hits of the firestorm took me to like below half HP, and I was fire race cap. So I was like, oh,
Like, I thought I'd normally ignore that mob's skills entirely.
that's pretty
So,
good. Hate
there
beat,
was
that's
that.
the name.
Yeah, I noticed Molten Strike guys in Chaos as well hit a bit more than I remember them hitting.
Yeah. Not like the rare Rakango that instantly kills you when you stare at him funny. But, hey, these were normally ignorable damage. What happened? I need to pay attention now.
Which is pretty good. It definitely does not help with PoE being balanced around watching TV, but other than that, I like it.
No, it is nice whenever I see like, hey, more threatening things going through the leveling process.
Should have just done a whole podcast about what TV shows we watch while we are playing PoE. I think that would have been really good.
I need a new TV series for that one.
Yeah, I just watched Stranger Things, I think it's called. I watched the first episode of that. That's what people told me. It's pretty good. It was pretty interesting. They have really good like young actors, which is like
What's it
child
about?
actors. I'm not sure yet after the first episode. It's a bit weird. That's the title. That's the
Yeah,
title suggests.
I've seen it. I actually enjoyed seeing it.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about then.
I can
None.
recommend watching the first episode. It might intrigue you a bit if you have time, which you probably won't with 2 podcasts and streaming and PoE.
We'll see. We'll see.
You just watch it while streaming. Nobody cares. All right.
What,
Is
you
there
don't
anything?
watch Twitch TV, The Chat, new TV series?
I mean, it's kind of
That's
like
the
a
best one.
kind of like a really horrible meme-infested sitcom sometimes. So I guess that works.
It has good episodes, it has bad episodes. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's just like you turn it on and you
Yeah.
hope it's a good one. Sometimes it just doesn't happen.
In fact, many of the times it's just like, what the hell? How did this get here? What happened? How did this conversation even start?
Definitely.
uh,
Okay, anything more about
So
Essence, or do we
interesting.
want to go to a different topic? Because I
I
got a
don't.
different topic.
Different topic. The only thing about essences, like the early game, there's a lot of essences that just feel useless. They're like, yeah, the sure maybe like the plus level or the plus levels to casters is quite nice because then it comes with the other mods. It's out. It's not just a one blue and you hope for
Yep.
an augmented property, and it's just so much more caster love. And melee is still like, but what about us?
Oh, I found that really interesting because Ziggy was going on about how bow leveling is probably better than spellcaster leveling early because of all the essences, and I was like,
But no.
no. Especially once you get these like 20%
Yeah.
spell damage essences, so you just like make a godly life spring for yourself and be like, that works. Because I got two 40% spell damage ones with cast speed sitting around and added elemental damage to spells. I'm like, I've never had this crazy leveling gear except like on a twink.
No, it is one of those huge things where melee, it's like, yeah, okay, it's nice. You get some if you're not buying unique weapons, like if you're gonna buy unique weapons, the essences
Oh yeah.
aren't really gonna compare to a Joffrey's baptism or whatever. But if you're using the other ones, it's like, okay, it's a nice filler for day one. But after day one, these are gonna be completely fucking useless.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
But
casters is like, oh, rather than your normal blue crafted +1, you get hundreds of attempts at landing the spell damage mod or the cast speed mod on top of it. Where melee is just kind of like, you tried.
yeah, I think they could have upped the flat fizz a bit. Not went as
Well, the
tame on it.
highest tier is flaring.
Yeah, the
You
highest tier
can't.
is flaring, but the progression is kind of like super. Feels like I'm always like a tier behind in what I want.
Mhm.
It feels like I'm always like a little bit lower. Like the highest tier is pretty crazy, which is super awesome.
Well, I would just like flaring might be nice, but when you look at what casters get in the same boat, you're like, flaring alone isn't going to carry you. 70% or the tier 1 cast speed of 40%, was it? It's just like, wait, why did they get that?
There's one for tier one attack speed.
There is.
Yeah,
Like,
there
there's
is
a
one.
tier 0 attack speed,
Yeah, there's even tier zero attack speed on the like highest one.
but that's going to be very, very hard to land the mods you need to make that valuable.
I've seen a tier two one on that I could be using right now, like really low. One of my friend list corrupted Nest and was like, "You would like that, wouldn't you?" I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not gonna pay for that." But yeah, that was like 20 something percent attack speed, which is pretty crazy for like level 40.
Nice.
I mean, to be fair, the ones that like the added flat fizz, you can use them on rings, which is really nice early on. That also helps.
Yeah.
That was usually my problem. Weapons I can generally find or have the uniques, but the rings generally having that extra flat fizz actually
Yeah,
helps
that does
a lot.
definitely help. Yeah,
I'm
especially
So I
having
think that's more of a use for the essences.
I'm just not even getting them to drop often enough now. I'm just like, where are you, Contempt?
yeah.
Where?
Yeah, I'm using them on rings as well because, especially as a one-handed dagger, daggers don't have like any base damage on them, so any flat fist helps so much. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm not getting too lucky on that. Especially like amulets, I'm just hitting all the light radius on amulets and weird stats that nobody needs.
Yeah, I'm holding all my yes ones at the moment. Just to convert them for later on.
Are you guys triggering any of the prophecies yet? Or are you storing them for
No.
later, obviously?
I accidentally misclicked twice and got two prophecies going, but they were like backtracking.
I I don't know, I have 12 coins, something like that.
I do not have a lot
So
of coins. Ziggy said that we were going to see them like 1/6 as often. That was a lie. They are
I
rare.
barely have any coins, so I'm just gonna save them until later on.
I think I found 7 coins total. I got 5 now because I used 2. And
Okay.
they seem rare, and especially with ceiling cost being still a thing, although lower. I kind of don't want to use my coins early because they are so rare. Before it was like you get enough coins to be able to use some for leveling just for fun,
Yeah.
and for like extra XP because a lot of the prophecies do spawn like some packs of rares or blues, which is nice to like get a little bit of extra XP burst to be able to run through another zone.
Yeah.
But not anymore. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I kind of want to save it for getting the keys. Maybe do like a Pale Council, something like this, because I think that the new Reach is still pretty good.
I think most of the coins I've gotten are from the chest suffix roll that adds silver coin drops.
I have not found one of those yet.
Yep, same.
They're not on divinate. They're not on the diviner's chest. They're on any chest that.
Ah,
So
nice.
that's nice. Yeah.
That's definitely. I thought might be Diviner only because the Diviner Silver Coin prophecy kind of makes sense thematically. But if it's not, then that's nice. It's kind of useful.
And then there's, more useful suffixes because the suffixes that currently existed on chests were interesting. Like, ooh, identify, ooh, extra. Sure, the additional items were nice in some of them, but then the
Yeah.
others was like, oh yeah, more useless white bases. Good,
That's true.
good. So glad that there's those, but now I'm like, all right, how often am I going to get a prophecy that's meaningful? In Prophecy League, in solo self-found, I got very, very little. So I'm like, well, that's a fucking burned bridge now. I think I'm gonna have to trade, or yeah, I think you need trade to utilize the current state of prophecies.
I wonder if silver coins will actually go up in price, or if people just give up on it completely and don't try to farm it anymore. If the price will like stay be kind of stable, although there are less coins, because people are just like, who cares, prophecies. Because I definitely
A lot
will
of
just use all coins I get.
I think a lot of people are less inclined because they got Void Heart and Reach nerfed, so many people will go, oh, so my random chance of profit is no longer there. Even though there are other methods, they probably will just sell their coins.
That could
Yeah.
be, which is nice because I kind of like doing prophecies still, especially like in between like the sextants that you apparently don't find and adding other stuff to maps, also adding prophecies on top, kind of creates a more diverse end game experience. I feel that's what I liked about prophecy, and especially if you can't
Yes.
spam them as much, you don't have to backtrack as often, I guess, and then it's actually not as annoying. Because if you only find so few coins, you only have to go back every now and then. So it's like kind of like a fun distraction more than again, I've only completed like 2 maps, now I have to go back to Act 3 again.
I think I'm gonna use mine after like around level 80 mid-tier yellow maps just to help out a bit, maybe. Depends on what I get.
Yeah, that's my plan as well. Start using them like once my build kind of feels like it can take it a little of extra challenge as well. Like once working a bit better. Because currently it's like this mess of not really crit, not really good dagger, not really good skill.
I think the most practical application that I've got in Soul Self-Found is going to be waiting till I'm like higher yellow tiers to red tiers, then starting to run them, just to try to get the Tempest ones that give the map quantity, because that ends up actually being a fairly large amount of map quantity that gets underrated is the Tempest spawning, and that's the most consistent use I could get out of it.
Yep.
Anyways, you never have to worry about having too many silver coins now. You can always burn yourself out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just don't use them while you're leveling. That's definitely wasteful.
Yeah,
100% wasteful.
I think it's wasteful. Before it was kind of like okay because you found so many. It was no problem to get to several hundred. Now it seems way more difficult. All right. Anyone seen any of the new uniques yet?
Oh,
Like the unspoiled new uniques.
no, I haven't seen any of them.
Have you seen the Stibnite Flask?
Oh, actually, I think I've seen that one. That's the unused level 21 vulnerability blasphemy question mark.
Yes, that's the one. I might actually use that because
No.
I'm poison, bleed, crit, reeve, and I don't want to run a blasphemy because I want assassin's mark. But getting on-demand vulnerability just for bosses seems pretty cool.
It doesn't give you the additional curse though, so you still have to have the extended curse limit.
Now I don't have to have that because I will normally use Assassin's Mark on Herald of Thunder Curse on hit, but on bosses I won't have that, so I'll just instead would self-cast that, but I think just having vulnerability permanently is nicer. I don't have to cast
Okay.
it. That might be a thing.
Okay. I just saw the step knife last, and I'm like, I want one. Like
Yep.
now.
That thing seems really awesome.
I see. When I first saw it,
I
I was
mean,
just gonna like, wait, what?
I generally swap to step knife when I go for like merciless Cesaro, and it's like, oh, this actually makes my build even better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so budget. That unique. I'm trying to look for it in front of me. That flask. I'm like, it gives you something conditionally that you would want conditionally instantaneously. A Stibnite flask looks good. The downside is like it has 50% extra charge use on a fucking Stibnite. Oh no, it's a
Yeah.
15.
It's
Well,
How will I ever?
especially as a Pathfinder, I mean, no chance that you can maintain that flask.
I mean, the downside is that um, you basically don't get the quality of the curse
Yes.
and the blasphemy, but they changed how it works on bosses where you'd use it and want it,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't really care.
Yeah, that's why I thought like, do I really care if I only use Vuln for bosses? Because that's when I would get half quality, like half effectiveness anyway. So not really.
But also for all the people who use that flask for the degen component, like let's say Righteous Fire, which isn't meta, but certain people like it.
Yeah, you could.
Right, Righteous Fire, Essence Drain, whatever degen builds that don't care about the physical component, the quality doesn't even matter.
Yes.
It's got full value, and you're like, yay! Any mob that potentially would have a larger health pool that I would ever need it on, press the flask. Excellent, well done, team.
Cell Tank is demanding a link to the Stibnite flask. I think that's a really good point.
Do you have the link in front of you?
I don't. I can't really open stuff as much as I would like to because
Right.
of overlays and stuff.
I do.
Oh, awesome. That's why we have guests on this podcast.
Exactly. Guests are secret slaves. Good job.
That's great.
Now I'm looking at some of the other ones. Oh dear God, I just saw something. Can we talk about Voidwalker?
The boots?
Yeah, can we
Oh,
talk
the
about the boots?
boots.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. So they have like crap ton of evasion, some yes. They have a 20% chance to avoid projectiles while phasing, 30% movement speed because everything else would be unbalanced. Projectiles pierce while phasing.
Yeah.
I've got to leave no comment on that one. And you have phasing if you killed recently, so you don't even have to NA. Before you read that mod, you're like, so I have to be use a quartz flask, or I have to be a raider or something. No, that thing doesn't need synergy. It's just free PS.
I would have used those on my Essence Drain character.
Yes, because it saves 500 skill points.
Yeah, both me and you are like, man, really don't want to get those Pierce nodes, but I kind of have to. And you spend like 10 or so points on it. Like 100% Pierce. Holy shit.
By the way, for the YouTube people, I'll put all the links to the uniques we discussed in the video description so you can have a look.
To people live, get fucked. No.
People live chat, probably.
Yeah, I linked them in the chat.
I mean, the links
What
are
the
also
hell?
in chat on YouTube. People can just type them into their browser.
Yeah, type. Take your browser. Oh, that'd be hell.
So yeah, those boots are pretty absurd, I feel. What do you think, Paws?
My first thought was, well, so I have perma phasing and I can pierce. What about replacing them with Skyforth? It's still a choice for some builds. So I think boots is a good thing for them. They're really, really nice and broken.
Yeah.
But you still have a choice for some builds.
They still do have competition because there is Skyfall,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous as well. That's true. It's probably a good slot to put it in because if you want to put like all the stats everyone wants, you have to put it into a slot where the other stats everyone wants are in as well. Which is
I
power
imagine
charge
if this
generation.
was on something else, like a helm.
Good gloves.
Gloves you have Voidbringers, then you have Skyforth, and then you have this as a helm or something, and then
Oh yeah, that
crazy.
would be crazy as well. Yeah, helmet doesn't really have any good offensive options, so that would be absurd. Like, just imagine like a lightning arrow build with that as a helm, and that would be crazy.
I'm just so many builds where you're just like, oh man, right, have to get the pierce, and this is like, nah, no, you don't. You're good. All you have to do is be able to kill something. Well, that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
And then there is also the 20% chance to avoid projectiles while phasing, which adds up.
Avoid is the question is avoid is not dodge, and avoid is also not evade, right?
I'm pretty sure it's evade.
Is it evade?
I'm pretty sure it's evade.
Because it's like
I think this is my yeah, it's normally not phrased this way, but it seems like it's the evasion calculation plus 20.
okay. Mentions just said this is multiplicative confirmed.
Oh. Oh.
So yeah, this is completely dumb.
Oh.
Okay, so why was Onda's Guile nerfed again? Because projectiles became too meaningless? I remember that being a thing at some point.
And it's not just attack projectiles, it is spell projectiles as well.
So
Yeah.
that helps against those dumb spark mobs that always tend to try and kill you.
What the fuck? And they have dexterity, which energy shield evasion builds are always starved for dexterity, just a little bit. And a good dexterity roll too.
Yep, so you can...
And max movement speed.
Yeah, they have max movement speed
Because
as
why
well.
not?
Because why... Like, Skyfall has that as well.
Oh,
And just in case you're not playing a Whirling Blades build, because you might be bows with this thing, then you want 30% movement speed, right? Okay, that thing has just everything. What's the downside? What's the thing with...
it
Wasn't there
technically
something-
doesn't have life if you were wanting
yeah.
to do a
No-
life-based build.
No life, no ES.
Yeah.
Low energy shield. Yeah.
Less energy shield than Skyfall, basically. Oh wait, with quality I think it's about the same. Slightly lower maybe. But yeah, it's just like... Okay, that's pretty crazy. And there's like another item that's actually pretty cool that I can actually put into the chat.
Oh, you had it prepped. Well done.
Yeah, because I almost remade my character to try this.
Is it the claw?
No, it's the Unending Hunger Cobalt Rule. Minions
right.
have 8% increased radius of area skills. 20% chance for Spectres to gain Soul Eater on kill for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
On Spectres. That makes them unkillable and insane speed.
Fuck.
But you have to. But it's a what's called threshold rule. So you have to have 50 intelligence in the passive radius, which is super easy in the witch area for that one jewel up there. So yeah, 30 seconds of Soul Eater.
Okay, it's a
on kill.
threshold jewel, and threshold jewels are meant to stack.
Yeah.
Does that mean you would get... This is one of the weird things. They've set up threshold jewels so that they always stack, but Soul Eater doesn't stack. It has it or it doesn't.
As the chance stacks, you get 40% on. It's 20% chance to gain Soul Eater on kill for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think the chance stacks. They could also make the time stack, but the chance doesn't.
No, this time wouldn't stack. That would make no sense.
But you only need
That
one of
seems
these
like
to have perma.
yeah,
time.
it's a negligible number. 20% for 30 fucking seconds. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, you need absolutely no. You need one of these, and you're done. And it's completely bonkers because once you realize that if you're playing a hybrid SRS Spectre summoner, every SRS Soul Eaters your Spectres, then that's when it's getting dumb.
Now, do remember that with any type of the soul-consuming mechanics, if there's two instances of a Soul Eater, so let's say you have two Spectres, they can't both take the same soul.
That's true.
So though it's over 30 seconds, they are effectively half of the power of Soul Eater each.
Yep. But that's why you're pumping out SRSs. Usually you have 3 Spectres with Bones of Ulu. That's a normal way to do it. And then you feed like, I don't know, like 20 SRS or so to nothingness every like, I don't know, 10 seconds.
Would you even do like a less duration rapid decay SRS?
No, I don't think it's worth it. They die pretty quickly already. I think it's completely fine as is. I wonder if like skill effect duration does actually affect this as well. So like once you get duration on your SRS, you would also get duration.
I would assume it's a buff. It's not a skill.
But they made it so that effects of threshold jewels get like effects, skill effects, and support gems.
Yeah, but the effect of the threshold jewel would be the chance to get Soul Eater. It wouldn't affect the
The
Soul
Soul
Eater.
Eater. I'm guessing so as well. That's what I would think how it works.
Yeah.
But that thing is crazy. Angry A is luckily doing a build with it because he actually ripped and had to redo, and he saw that because when I saw that thing, I was like, I have to reroll the summoner. Damn! But I'm already like midway through Cruel. I can't just reroll for this. But this thing is for a summoner player. This thing is absurd. This is above. To put it in GGG words. The only problem we still have is that Spectres are a pain in the ass to deal with, but at least once we have them, they're actually worth the time.
Oh, that is very, very interesting.
I think
Like
so as well.
I am fascinated with those existing. And then there's the claw. Have you seen the claw?
No, I haven't seen the claw. I've seen
No,
the
I haven't seen
iron
the claw
ring.
yet.
Okay, well, do you want to show off the iron ring while I look for the claw?
Yeah, the iron ring is iron. It's the Warden's brand iron ring. It gives you. Goes up to 25 plus 25 to 50 physical damage to attacks. That's the highest you can roll on that. But it has reduced attack speed. The one I linked has 30% reduced. I think it goes from 20 to 30 or something. 20 to 40. And you have the chance to gain a frenzy charge on stun. When you stun an enemy. It's kind of like
So it's
a bit weird.
it's reduced, but it's not less.
It's reduced attack
That's
speed.
funny.
So it counters your gain increased attack speed from the tree. Basically, it just subtracts from that. So if you have 30% increased attack speed on the tree, it just goes to 0.
Yeah.
And the physical
It's
damage.
not a huge penalty for it.
But for the amount of physical damage, it's not that great. No. I think that ring definitely has some potential in stuff like a wonder build, maybe. Where you like can throw out like one kinetic blast to hit a pack and have up to 50% added physical, which is like half your weapon or even all your weapon if you're leveling. That thing is level 30 requirement.
But
Yeah, I saw the requirement.
it's still an insane amount of fizz damage to give to a face breaker.
Yeah, Facebreaker, of course. Like Facebreakers usually already have low attack speed. They would go like, kind of like to absurdly slow levels of attack speed. Holy crap! Yeah, I kind of think it's an interesting one. It's a supporter unique as well, as far as I know.
Yeah. It is going to, like, in terms of what Facebreakers normally does, there was the new Facebreaker base ring, which is an improvement.
Yep.
And then you're also going to run into the issue that you have resists. Like, that is a build that has tons and tons of resist problems.
Yeah, because you usually want to use all the added fizz uniques, so you're kind of starved. I know that problem.
And
I kind of I kind of think like the Warden's brand, for example, like the chance to be in the frenzy combined with Warlord's Mark, stunning enemies, not
Oh, yeah.
having blood rage, sorry.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you get like both charges. Then you get like endurance and frenzy automatically
Yeah.
just from this item and Warlord's Mark, and you have the leech, mana leech, and life leech thing covered as well. So you don't need blood rage anymore for leech. That's really nice. Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, and it's a fairly
Thanks.
straightforward item, and it's just like, hey, if you can solve the resist and the defensive stats on your Facebreaker build, want it to be better? Here you go.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, there's the claw.
Yeah, I linked the claw in chat. I don't know if you can get it shown, but that claw is special. Holy shit.
Is it on the
Okay.
leech base?
Claude does stuff with minions.
Yes.
But it also has fizz damage and
Summons-
attack speed, so it's supposed to do damage as well.
You read the before last line.
Spectral wolves on kill. Ooh, increased introductions to minion damage also affect you. That is absurd.
But it's only the increase and
Okay.
reduction of minion damage. So it's not just minion stats in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. If it was minion stats, I mean, we already have Mistress of Sacrifice, right?
Yes, but at the same point in time, imagine that would affect, minion life nodes.
But that's really nice for dominating blow. You can dominating blow with claws, right?
Yes, it's all weapons.
That seems really nice for it because you can, yeah, you actually get damage from scaling minion damage, which is kind of like normally not dominating blow. It's kind of like have to find a compromise of doing enough damage to get the dominating blow action started, as well as maintaining their minions.
And
Exactly.
then you have the guaranteed increased damage if you hit. Pretty high attack speed.
It's 70%. That's actually a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool claw.
Are you going to be able to get a meaningful amount of damage, though, to actually do something with it, is my concern.
I mean, you only have to, if you're actually playing dominating blow, you only have to get your dominating blow going, and then it's
Yeah. So in terms of dominating blow, it's fine. It does damage. The issue that I would say is dominating blow builds have never, like, the minion damage is not the issue with dominating blow. So then when I read the line before it, which is the increase in reduction to minion damage, are you realistically going to be able to get enough to do something interesting with the claw? A cast on melee kill SRS or something weird?
Rise has done stuff like this before, and it actually did not look bad at all. He's
Yeah.
the Cyclone cast on crit SRS.
The wolf part of it was on Rigval's ring, I think, and it
Yes.
lasts 30 seconds, was it?
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
remember
long.
I tested that wolf.
And they buffed the wolves this patch.
They did buff it because they
Yeah, they
sucked
did buff
so
them.
much before.
Yeah.
They were absolutely horrible, yes. But now
Yeah.
they might be good, and that might be the reason why they revisited the wolves, because they were like, people might kind of want to use the wolves on this claw, and it might actually be alright.
I remember the ring. I'm like, this is awesome. A ring that causes wolves when I kill stuff. Let's check it out. Oh dear God, this only will kill me to chain. This is literally all it does.
Yep. Yeah,
They
the
do
wolves
no
are not very good.
damage. Oh, they were depressing.
So Claw, I think that's one of the more interesting uniques they released in a while.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely interesting, at least. It has something to it. It's not, well, it does this and this, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not like here have some power like certain boots have, and
Yeah.
but it's also not like here have this janky stuff that won't work up until like tier 5 maps, and then you can like forget using it.
but we do know that it would be shocking to see this not just turn into the 3 alk bin.
Yeah, it's gonna be cheap. It's probably
Yep.
going to be easy, unless it's like really good, but I don't think it will be.
Well, minion AI would have to be better to break this claw, anyways.
Minion AI is not horrible. Like you have to get used to it and learn to like steer the minions a bit. Then it's not horrible. I mean, there are some minions that are horrible. Like animate weapons are probably the worst because they just don't really listen to you. SRSs as well, but SRSs are faster, so they don't have a problem with it. Minions are like all over the place right now. I feel like they need to like streamline and like, I don't know, make it more consistent how minions behave.
Hey, but they got movement speed on the greed. There's the essence of fear
that
that has
pretty good.
yeah, it has some interesting minion stats. So there's that. And when I read this, I wished so much that it said increases and reductions to minions affect you, because that would
That would have been funny.
That would be too
like
good.
obviously you would have had to adjust some things, but that would have been such an amazing stat to play around with.
That would be too good.
Holy shit.
You can easily get like 900% movement speed then, which is not a healthy stat to have in the game. Like easily. There's not even investment. You just stack the mini movement speed with what we currently got, and if you get the what's it called? The essence as well, where you can put like 30% movement speed on 2 rings. Like imagine you have 30% movement speed on your rings right now. That's absurd. You have 30% on your boots and you're like, this is really good. And then you put that on your ring and on the other ring, and then you press Flesh Offering with Mistress of Sacrifice, which now has double
Yeah.
stats. That's too much. Then you press Val Haste, and you're like,
But it would,
At least it would be funny to see. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
you don't
also-
see many minion stuff.
also Minion Life. Illumina just mentioned the chat Minion Life. Yeah, that would be a bit out of control probably.
How to make life viable. Just make something that gives minion life to the player. Solved.
Problem solved. Don't need anything anymore.
then how does it work when you put minion life on a skill gem? You just hit them and you get a more multiplier to your life pool.
That would be funny. By the way, Wolves are generated from your claw. Do support gems in the claw affect the wolves? That would be cool.
That's
It doesn't look
Because
like
for the
it.
ring it was never a question because it doesn't have a socket. But for the claws, that would be a nice way to
I would
actually make them
assume
useful.
no, because like the things that spawn in the on the glove enchants don't get affected, and you give the gloves
Yeah.
those property of 10% chance to whatever.
Yeah, then it's probably also not affected. But that would have been a cool way to actually like having to scale it on a 4-link and kind of like make it good yourself and not just relying
Yeah.
on GGG putting the proper values for it then to not suck.
Well, actually, related, that was one of the things with glove enchants. I really wish you could play around with socketing glove enchant, so that would be another thing on your build that you would consider. Do you want the 4-link, or do you want to enhance the glove activation into something else?
Yeah, that would be nice. At least for some of the things, it's actually pretty good. Like there's like this one that shoots like projectiles, like actually spectral throws, like in an area in front of you, like in a
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a
half
fire
circle.
one. I think it's like Fury.
Yes, one of those. That's actually pretty good because it uses your weapon's base damage. I would totally like if I have the gem sockets open, I would totally use that on a deck build. Just like get some extra. It could give extra like clear straggling mobs and stuff on a melee build.
But this is definitely not at the power level of that Stib Night Flask.
No, that's probably not. Talking about power level, there's
Nope.
a unique map that we might want to talk about.
Which the
Hallowed
one on
Ground
Christmas?
Graveyard map.
oh, it was released. Yeah, we had that one before.
Do we have the
This
stats
one.
as well? Because that thing seems pretty crazy. It's a tier 4 map with monster level 78. And it has
Shit's
2000% increased experience gain.
reasonable.
And you recover flask charges for free every 3 seconds because now everyone gets to be a Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And it has 3 additional map drops for the boss, which is pretty crazy considering it's a level 78 monster level tier 4 map. Kinda cool. Like plus 6, right? 78, 79. You can
This
get
is so weird.
You can get plus 8 maps and grind experience at the same time.
When I read the 0.5%, 0.5 flask charges recovered every 3 seconds. And that experience, I'm just like, the mobs that spawn in this map have to be bullshit.
It's like only rectangles and devourers.
Like, what's the experience gain on Untainted
On the
Paradise
squids?
again?
I don't know the current value.
400 max, I think.
It's only like, yeah, it's 400% or something.
Check.
300 to 400, yeah.
Yeah, this is 2,000.
But it's a tier 4 map with level 78 monsters.
Yeah, so yeah, the monsters are 78, so that's the experience they're going to give you.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most experience that could, like, these mobs have to be like triple elemental damage, bonus damage, fractured porcupines through the entire fucking map.
I mean, Hallowed Ground kind of like it's probably like zombie stuff or like undead stuff, right? It's a graveyard map.
Porcupines that respawn after killing them with those mods. Like, what the hell is going to be difficult enough to justify that experience bonus? Or is this just going to be literally exalt drops?
It's more like it's only a boss, no other mobs apparently.
It might just, yeah, it might have been just like the
Oh, yeah.
boss plus a few mobs.
Like Death and Taxes.
Same as Death and Taxes.
That's what I read in chat as well.
It might be something similar to that. Then again, it's a graveyard layout.
Yeah, it doesn't make unless
It should be related to graveyard somewhat.
Maybe it's just like kind of like a tomb where like some ghost boss whatever mob comes out.
It'd be
We'll
cool,
pro-
like to have
Fuck
like
it.
chests, have chests and open them and have a chance for mobs to spawn. But you never know how many mobs you get in there.
Well, Monster's Treasure unique map would be funny. That always is like Monster's Treasure. That would be kind of cool. So you can like do it when you want to, but you don't get it all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how rare that map is. Because, yeah, if it does just end up being a Death and Taxes, that'll be a little bit disappointing. I don't know how I feel about the, a map that is a boss, and then that boss just has a really, really high experience.
And
That
three extra maps, I guess.
yeah, that's just kind of like, well, I guess makes some sense, but now you're just disappointing in that whole experience gain.
That's a bit true. But
So we'll
otherwise,
see.
I think there would not be a way to balance it with mobs around, right?
Remember the original Untainted Paradise? That was balanced.
Well,
That was that
it
was
was
funny.
just getting high level was all about has the best connections to grind Untainted.
Hey, at least when that actually came out, you could die to the Devos.
Yeah, the map was actually legit scary back then.
Oh yeah, it was. You were like, oh, it's tier 1. You just go in Devo pack insta dead, and you're like if you were doing Pug tropical islands that were untainted, you would expect one person in the group to die.
And
And
you would
that
always want to run in front.
Mm-hmm.
So that they would die.
Yeah, so the Devo spawn right behind you, and you can just see them
And
all
you can
die.
keep running.
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly. Just don't stop or you're done.
I like the
Like
old movie Speed. Devos.
exactly.
Oh man.
All right, do we have anything else we want to talk about, or do we want to go back into some Path of Exile and other stuff?
Unique wise, that's all I have. I mean, I haven't prepared anything. I just opened Reddit and
Yeah,
clicked on all the uniques I saw.
fair enough. I've got nothing.
We got Essence.
Like
We got
I'm not. We're all just. We've all just experienced the tip, so we can't really describe the experience.
that. That's true. That's true. So yeah, maybe some words on the performance issues.
Fucking dumb.
Okay, I think we covered that topic.
I'm happy. I don't know, I'm happy. Last time I played Play Vortex, I crashed and couldn't play the entire time. And now I could play it.
The actual multi-threading has been an
Yeah.
improvement.
Yes.
The shrines, I'm noticing, it's not stable, but it's more
No,
stable.
no.
Like the
It's a
whole
bit better.
what, and we all knew that. Whenever they showed their demos, they're like, "Yeah, our frames are stable. We're using Tornado Shot," and I'm like, "Really, Tornado Shot? Why aren't you using Cast on Crit Arctic Breath? Because that would show us how confident you are in your system."
Yeah.
But no, so it's better.
I actually noticed a bigger improvement now that I'm not streaming, because that's a huge impact. Because now
Yeah, it
my
is.
processor is not getting hogged by OBS, so it can actually do the multi-threading like properly. It's insane. Like I've frame drop wise, I'm complete stable, and I never had that before. Like complete 60 FPS. I go into dogs with the rain, 60 FPS. Everything explodes with the dogs with burning ground, 60 FPS.
The only things that are dropping me below 60 FPS are still shocked ground shrines. Those I
Yeah.
can see a bump, and there was another thing that I don't remember right now that I was actually pretty like it was pretty funny to watch.
Yeah, they used to drop me as well, but nope. I've not dropped like had any frame drops that were not related to like lag spikes on the server at once. I had the thing open all the time just to like check because I kind of wanted to look at it now that I'm not streaming, and it actually makes a huge difference if you actually have the like CPU power open to let it do its thing. It seems.
Yeah.
While streaming, I didn't notice much.
And you guys didn't have any issues at the start. And we talked about
No.
that. Uh,
The one death that I had where I was where I died to the server catching up to the messages, but everyone had that. That was like not unavoidable because the messages were lagging behind. And yeah, I actually died to that. That was a bit silly. No, after that I didn't have any issues whatsoever. Could log in, could log out, could log in.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising. People were complaining about not being able to log in. Party member logged out because he derped
That was it.
and could log back in a second. I was like, what? How do you cheat?
Yeah. Yeah, people were also like, Frankfurt is down, nobody can play on Frankfurt. I'm like, I'm playing on
Yeah.
Frankfurt, 20 ping. What is this?
Frankfurt for me was a bit horrible. I played mostly on Milan now, but Frankfurt, there was someone in a party who invited me for a trade, and I was like going up, down, 200 ms. I was like, okay, no thank you.
Milan used to be my go-to server as well because kind of like the one. I don't think that many people play on that for whatever reason. So it always seems to be like super not stressed or not phased by anything that's happening to every other server. Like I have higher ping, but it's
Yeah.
more stable, and stability is mostly what I care for. Like the difference between 20 and 40 ping is not that big that I like actually feel it while playing PoE.
I've got nothing. Like the start, I was just in for 2 hours. We had a screen open with the GIMP program, and I was just writing shit on a whiteboard, being like, "Except for Harambe." We had like 1.4 thousand people watching that. We're like, "Dicks out for Harambe. It's a buff."
Yeah.
Like, fuck this.
To be fair, I wish they would do something like let you log in 1 hour before, like in a race. Let you log in and stay online and see
Used to be like
how
this.
their servers.
Yeah, I do remember earlier you could log
They
in at
used
least
to.
15 minutes before,
Yeah.
and then because then the countdown, I remember everybody, the general chat exploding, and everyone was like, "Oh my God!"
And everyone was at the beach, standing there with their character, being like, "Oh my god, it's about to start." It's exactly like a race is basically, just
Yeah.
with like so many more people, obviously.
I said, I
And
don't get it why we have to be thrown in now and oops.
yeah, and then so also one of the thing is it's a smaller thing, but when you're talking about the day one racing stuff, which is definitely a small portion, but being in a queue at position, 90,000 versus being at a position queue in like 10 and you have to wait, 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, people have gotten to like Act 3. So it's like, huh, interesting.
And
Like when I finally got in, people were in Cruel, and I'm like, yay.
yeah, I think my main worry about this is like first of all like the competition problem. Like if someone wants to push ladder and gets screwed over by this, it's kind of like really annoying to lose like half a day or a day to it because the early game makes so much difference. I think that's like if they want the competitive aspect to be a thing again, I would even say because
Yeah.
most of the competitive people have already left, or like half of them at least. Like
There's
Etub's gone, Havoc's gone,
Nugi's gone.
Yuki's gone. There's like three of the biggest competitive streamers we had that were actually caring about ladder racing. Now we have like Ziz and Rise still there, obviously. But
Is Crame? I know Crame was talking about not doing this season or at like this league. I don't know if
even
Crame
Crane,
is.
crazy. I see
Well,
Steel is definitely added. I saw him level.
well, I know Crame and Waggle were just kind of talking about it's not that they dislike racing, it's just there's nobody that's realistically competing. And when you have a very small competition pool, it doesn't cause people to strive. There wasn't a Shaper race.
I found that pretty sad as well. Like, I
I
would have loved to see like here get a laptop if you kill Shaper first and softcore and hardcore. That would be
I mean,
that was
even something less would have been nice.
yeah, something like or have this free MTX
yeah,
supporter
they
pack.
did the MTXs with Val. Like the first 50 got the at Zeri. There was one. Why is like, something? Even if it's just a portrait.
Yeah, it's basically introduce a new amazing hard to kill boss. Put a reward out for first kill. That's not that difficult. Just like these two stats that should be. I think that should be like an automatism for them at this point.
Have you guys spoiled the
Did he accidentally mute himself?
I might have. Did you guys
Yeah.
I was pouring some wine. Did you guys spoil the Shaper lore for yourselves?
I didn't spoil anything.
No, not really. I mean, he talked to me in maps.
He was like,
there was before the patch there was an audio file and we went through it and we spoiled. I'm not going to say anything, but I had fun.
all of Zana dialogue. That was one, right?
Yeah, it was all of the Xena dialogue.
Yeah, it said like heavy spoilers, so I was like, nope. I just listened to the first 3 lines just to see Zana's new voice, if she still has the accent, which is not the case, sadly. And then I just left.
Yeah. I'm saying nothing because you guys didn't do that, so segue. Segue.
Yeah, Paws, did you look at the fight? Because the fight was on Reddit earlier. And for you actually like
Yeah.
pushing it might be relevant. What do you think of it without like spoiling too much? Because I actually don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. I can't.
Well, it was showcased, or rather, it was recorded by someone with 2120 gems, +1 chess piece, really good gear.
Must have been
It
standard,
looked,
right? So
yeah, it looked difficult to train. Like you have to do specific things at specific times, dodge things. It's very mechanical and punishing. So I think it's gonna be pretty hard to do in this league in the 3 months that we have available. I think that's about as much as I can say without spoiling.
Yeah.
you
Well, would
say
you say it compares very well to Etziri? Because when Etziri first happened and we didn't know all the rules about it, there was a lot of just, well, when you do Etziri, just gear check it entirely through 100% immunity and go. That was how Etziri is like, all right, guys, just immune the fight, we can do the fight. Then once we had the opportunity and the time to learn it, it's definitely more mechanical and you can cheese a lot of the, or not necessarily cheese it, you can avoid all the damage it's possible.
Yeah, once you
Is
get the mechanics down, I think it's the same for the Shaper.
is it
From
going to
what
be
I noticed in the video,
easier or harder than Uber Eats area if you took a guess?
I'd say harder.
good.
Okay.
I'm happy about
Even
that.
even the duration of the fight itself, or the fact that things happen and it takes a while for things to happen, well, it's nerve-wracking. You're there, you're fighting, you're like, oh my god, I have to do this now, I have to do that now. And it's like, okay, this is taking way longer than I thought.
You
I don't think
actually,
you can just gear check it
you
at
actually
the
have to
moment.
do the mechanics and can't just cheese all of
Yeah.
it. That's pretty good.
I
I
mean,
that's very. I think that's very good news.
there was one phase, and this is not a spoiler more or less, it's like Vingtars and Val Discipline, and you would still go down in health.
Okay,
Um
and that was a competent build as far as you mentioned it. So seems
yeah.
like seems like that's pretty solid then.
I'm looking forward to being smeared across the pavement in that fight eventually.
Yeah.
That seems like a good way to end a character. Be like, all right, guys, let's start a new character. Death.
Yeah, I expect to die. I said I'd progress the Atlas and like see new fights and bosses and unlock most.
Did
I think now
audio fail?
pause
Yeah,
is
I think
muted.
I think Paws pulled a PT and muted herself. Pause. Is she dead?
Oh, she did.
She dead.
Died. Oh, she back?
Oh, rest in peace. You were so young. Goodbye, Pause.
Might as well end the podcast, I guess.
All right, we will pause it.
We will pause the
Uh,
podcast
uh, uh.
with all the kappas we have. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Go back. We will go back to playing PoE
That's what
because
happens when you do spoilers.
yes. And check out Paw's stuff. She has a YouTube with one video and a Twitch with a lot of streams.
We'd get her to plug herself. Oh, wait.
Wait,
Oh, plug yourself. Go.
go! Oh, you're back on the podcast. Okay,
Oh my god. My internet's so good.
All right, plug yourself because we're closing up.
Well, twitch.tv, PressStartToPaws. I'm gonna be pushing and dying on Shaper. Thank you everyone for having me, and that's it.
yippee!
Success.